All right. I'm super excited to have Shev here with me, and she has been another success story here at Fit With Nirit. And I just want to highlight Shev first. So, can you tell us what you do and who you are and just all about you?
Oh, thanks for and thanks for having me here today. My name is Shev Dalal Dehaney. I am a mom of two teenage boys, and I work a very busy full-time job as an immigration lawyer advocate, which has been very busy for the last many years. So successfully navigating all the things of having children in middle school and high school and playing sports and having a full-time job and a husband. So that's me.
Yes. Okay. So, Shev, you first of all, you're amazing in what you do in your career, and we are grateful for that. So, I just want to put that out there first. Um, okay. So, Shev, can you tell us kind of like why you kind of started, like how you started this journey a little bit? Like, why did you come to me as a coach? Like your previous kind of ways into getting in shape?
um, I don't think I've ever fully committed to getting in shape. I always thought about it, but it was always something for me that was secondary beyond the family and work and other commitments. So I had actually been following Narit for a while, for many years. I think Narit and I met like when our kids played flag football together many years ago. And so I'd been Facebook friends with you since then, and kind of been paying attention and to what you were doing. And I was like, oh, those are good ideas. But I had just personally had never been successful in weight loss issues. I've struggled with it my whole life, pretty much since I was, a pre-adolescent. It was something I never liked because I just never wanted to sacrifice something. But I think what finally sort of pushed me over the edge recently during the pandemic was like now I have a little bit of extra time because I used to have a 3-hour daily commute to get into work. And the kids were home and didn't really have any activities that we were running around. And I said, if now is not the time to put me first and to prioritize my health, even though I had to convince myself that prioritizing my health is for my family, and for the betterment of my family, that was finally like the time to do it. I think in my lifetime, I probably had like two potentially successful moments of dieting, if you call it dieting. One I call the Peace Corps crash diet. So I served in Peace Corps in rural West Africa and lived in a village where I had very little access to lots of types of food, and it was hot and didn't have air conditioning, and I was walking or biking everywhere. So that was an immediate crash diet, which was great and lasted for a few years afterwards, but everything quickly came back. And then at some point I did try to do like MyFitnessPal on my own, but it saw payment, but having you sort of be there every step of the way and holding me accountable was really what convinced me that like, okay, if I know I can't do it on my own because I'm not going to force myself to do it. Having you as a coach help me sort of make sure that I did it and I was holding myself responsible, but someone else was paying attention to me and saying, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And I'm a people pleaser. So that's important.
Awesome. Awesome. So, well, you also discussed like your past experiences. So like had you tried to like exercise before? Had you tried to, lose weight with just exercise alone? What have you tried before?
Yeah, so I actually had knee problems growing up, so I wasn't able to really be like run growing up. I used to dance as a child, like a Indian classical dancing, but exercise was never sort of something I loved or enjoyed. I did, had many gym memberships throughout my lifetime. I did find where it was most successful is when I had a trainer with me, so telling me what to do and how to do it, making sure I was doing it. Just having the gym membership never sold me. And it was always something that was easy to like put off later because just making a trip to the gym. It's the extra time of having to go to the actual gym, get dressed, get changed, come back. Like that was taking up too much time. So that was, I had moments, but I could never say I fully committed to it.
Okay. So tell us about the workouts you did with me.
Yeah. So what I loved about the workouts, the strength training workouts, especially, was that it was everything I had at home. We had weights because I had attempted to work out before. And just it's exercises that fit my level of activity and my comfort level, but also pushed me to keep trying to go harder. And it just became a routine and became something that I used to doing sort of as a crutch, right? Like, I could say I'm a huge like emotional eater, stress eater, and the last few years have been super stressful. And so my turn would be like, oh, what can I find in the pantry and eat? And now I find after work, I'm like, oh, maybe if I just blow off some steam by working out or running or, walking on the treadmill, it'll help. So it just sort of became such a part of my routine that it changed how I looked at exercise. It wasn't a chore anymore, but it's something like I look forward to that would give me energy during the day, and stress relief.
I love that. Why do you think it changed? Like, what do you think changed about it? Like, why were you
seeing the results and feeling better and feeling the results always helped. But I think the types of exercises that you assigned us were like meant to do that, right? Like, I think if it was just me going to the gym being like, oh, maybe I'll do, whatever, like the elliptical or maybe a couple weights, but not knowing exactly what to do and how to do it to make it effective, makes a difference.
Yeah, I think definitely having programming and, like you said, the time saving. I've never been a gym person, so like just because of time. So with busy people, like, I own my own business, you are a lawyer. I think the time saving is huge. So how do you feel? Because I know that you are not the kind of person, you're like me, like we have lives, we have kids. We're not just going to eat chicken and broccoli. And you like to, you are a person who, has a culture like me of your own. So can you talk to me about that? Like, what kind of foods did you eat? Like, or do you eat? Because this is a lifestyle, right? This isn't a diet. So I want you to kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like I've changed what I eat specifically, right? Like I am more cognizant of what I eat and what goes into what I eat and how, just throwing olive oil onto a dish adds a lot of unnecessary calories, using different types of breads. But, we have pizza, we have wings. I have the biggest sweet tooth in the world. And pretty much every day, I know Nirit has seen it on my fitness pal, there is some kind of dessert involved. So, I don't feel like I've restricted what I eat, but I'm more conscious about what's going in. Because I think like the process of entering it holds yourself accountable. Entering it into the MyFitnessPal holds me accountable to be like, oh, like, maybe I don't need 3 of whatever it is. I'll just have like a small slice to satisfy my craving, and balance it out with something else.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know that we had talked like a couple times before you started the program. So what were you skeptical about? What were you afraid of before starting the program? And I just want you to be very honest. Like we didn't talk before the interview. I never talk before the interview with people because I want to be super authentic, like this is, real. So what were you afraid of? And
I was afraid whether it would work, whether it's some kind of gimmick, whether I myself could make it work. Would I give the time and dedication it needed to work, commit to it, whether it's just like, am I just throwing away my money again on something that's not gonna prove to be successful? And so I was really nervous about it. Other times when I've thought about committing, and we talked before, it was just finances were an issue or something like that. But I was like, you know what? It's the time. The time is right if I don't do it. And when we talked that first time, I was super nervous. Like, I don't know if this is the right thing. But somehow you managed to convince me, and I'm very glad that you have, because, not only at least somewhere between 25 and 30 pounds lighter than when we first signed on, but just feeling so much more energetic and just a different mindset. And it's really important.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, a lot of people think it's a gimmick, and I understand why, because everything that you hear out there about this, how people lose weight, and they think, like, when I say you can literally, there's no restrictions, people are like, so can you talk about that a little bit, how it's not a gimmick? Like, I would really love, I always ask people in the interview, like, talk about that, talk about how, like, you can eat pizza, you can eat wings. Like, I would love for you, to tell other people kind of about that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds too good to be true, right? Because what Nirit will say is that you don't have to give up sweets, and you don't have to give pizza or drinks or whatever it is that you like. You don't have to give up being a social person. And I'm like, but how does that work? Because clearly I'm doing all that right now, and I'm not successful. But it's that balancing and sort of just understanding the science behind it that Nirit helps you with. Like, it doesn't necessarily matter what you eat. It's, what the quantity is, the calories in versus the calories out. And then how I think part of what motivated me to exercise was knowing that it's helping with those calories out, or with the weight loss. So, I mean, I am proof it's not a gimmick. It's work, because I'm not someone who's been successful. I think I remember, like, maybe as a teenager, like, my mom signing me up for Weight Watchers too, and just none of that. Like, hating, like, having to measure, or like, oh, you can only eat this and you can only eat this. And, we're not a family that eats prepackaged foods or pre-prepared foods. Like, we like to cook from scratch all the time. And so it's harder to be able to, like, measure and weigh, or say, we want to eat this or we don't want to eat that. Like, I feel like it's been, it fits with my lifestyle, which is important. I think it's really important.
Which is also busy, like, to be clear. So I feel like you've changed, a little bit with your life, but a lot of it has just, like, been more aware. So you feel better, you look fantastic, you look great, you lost about between 25 to 30 pounds. What was the experience like working with me in this program? Like, as far as, like, getting the support?
So, I mean, I would have my daily text messages from Nirit, which, like, I knew they were coming, and I was like, okay, Nirit's going to say, like, you didn't do this, or what is going on? But I found you to be, like, so positive and encouraging. And even when I was down on myself about how I was going, like, you're like, nope, you're doing a great job. Like, keep working on this. But then when I wasn't, or if there was something slipping, you weren't giving me a pass on it. Like, you were saying, like, no, you can do this. I know I fought really hard on the idea of, like, trying to, like, pre-select my food. I'm someone who's just like I have so many things I plan during my day and my week that, like, figuring out the food was just like, I just didn't want to have to deal with it. And you're like, no, just try to put your meals in ahead of time to, like, so that how many calories you can eat throughout the day. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. But you kind of pushed me to do it, and it's been really helpful. So I find, like, Nirit, you're just such a supportive person, but, like, you don't take any, slack from us. Like, you're not going to let us get away with it. And, whenever I had questions, you were always willing to respond. I feel like morning, noon, or night, weekends, weekdays, you're always texting me back pretty quickly. And that one-on-one and that sort of accountability was super important for me.
Yeah. I mean, you did great. It's just, the reason is because, I want you guys to do great. So I guess for me, so I have a new cohort starting. We only have 5 places, room for 5 women starting Monday. I think it's May 17th. So here's my thing. I want you to tell people, what would you tell someone who was thinking about doing the program? And, it is an investment. It is, it is something. But what would you tell someone who's thinking, maybe I should do this? What would you say to them?
I mean, I think you have to decide personally, like, whether you are worth that investment. And when someone asks you that question, I think you're right, you asked me that question, like, are you worth the investment? And if you can say yes to that, which I hope everybody can, that you yourself are worth that investment, then that's your answer right there. Like, is my life worth improving and feeling better about? And feeling more confident, feeling like you're setting a good example for your family or your friends. Like, it's funny because, I was never active, and my kids are always like, I would play with them and they'll do, but mom, you don't do this, and mom, you do. And now they're like encouraging me, like, oh, mom's working out again, and like, oh, good job, mom. And part of my motivation was also that, like, one of my children was struggling with his weight, and I could see where he was going to where I went in my lifetime. And I was like, I want to be able to set that good example for him together, that we can, it doesn't have to be a life problem. Sorry, I don't know if I answered your question. I keep rambling. But.
Totally did, because I remember we had talked about that in one of our conversations, and how they were like, oh no, I can wait for you to finish working out, mom, like, before you're going to drive him somewhere. Like, I remember that. And that really, like, spoke to me, because there's nothing like your kids being proud of you for working out. Like, there's nothing, no feeling like that, no matter like what size you are, like, just watching you like get stronger. That is the best feeling. I'm so excited for everything that you've done. I'm super excited. And thank you for letting me show you off.
Thank you. I would highly recommend it. If you're thinking about it, talk to Nirit, and see if that's your fit. But it seems like it would fit pretty much everyone's lifestyle. If you're looking to lose weight and get into exercises that are helpful in that journey, then definitely check out Nirit.
Yay. Well, thank you for doing this interview, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.